Welcome, everyone. I got
Right.
my friend Gus. What's up, Gus? How are you?
How's it going, guys? Happy to be here, right? Once again with the man, the legend, Tristan Omada from Lab Coat Agents.
Dude,
Pretty awesome.
thanks, buddy. Your background, your book background is just getting more extensive, and your
100%.
your camera is better. What the hell happened since we talked?
So I got this from Jeff, right? So this is I got an external cam Lumina, amazing, right? For the Windows people out there, I use Windows. Come on, old former Microsoft guy, old habits die hard.
Yep.
This is a great webcam, way better than the built-in. And I have I have a pretty decent, machine here, like a gaming machine. The webcam was all right, not that great. A really good video card, so webcam. I got the Lumina. Jeff recommended it to me. I think I was on Drunk on Social. I was on one of those podcasts that he does, and I'm like, "Holy cow, it's an amazing webcam, Jeff!"
It is.
And he's like, "It's an external Lumina. I recommend it." I go, "Holy cow, it's great, great. It's about $100. It's like the higher end Logitech. The better one's a little bit more expensive, but holy cow, what a difference!"
Dude, I like it. Good job, man. Good job. So what do you have in store for us today when it comes
So
to ISAs?
Yeah, so if you folks are coming in for the ISA, webinar, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. If you
Yeah.
if you want to, if this is the Welcome to Compass orientation, this is not the right webinar, guys. That's the other webinar being run
It's
by
so
about
funny.
half a dozen brands today. Welcome to Compass, right? So that's the other webinar. This is the How to Hire Your Own ISA webinar, and we're going to go through it. And Tristan, I'm so glad you're here because Tristan, how many virtual assistants do you have on your team? Like how many? Like, no,
Yeah.
or I ballpark, how many have you hired? Like, in your career, like, give me a
Oh,
round number.
how many have I
Like
hired?
dozens, or
I've
you
hired
know,
I've hired over 300 for
wow,
us, but
yeah,
I currently on the staff, and virtual means also in the US, by the way, because we've got a
true,
whole
100%,
virtual Washington, Florida, everywhere. We've got
100%.
about take away a couple or over 50 people in our staff.
Wow, 50 people virtually, right? So,
All
that's
virtual.
awesome. That's awesome because I want you to be a sounding board for a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today because you've been through it, and even though this is a very specific role, ISA is a customer facing telephone, full contact sport role. So it's not the same as any virtual role. I think they differ a lot. But you've hired a bunch of ISAs too, right? So I've
Yeah.
met some of your ISAs, here and there. So would love to get your perspective on this because we're gonna go through it step by step. And the format I want to use today, Tristan, is I'm going to go through each step. I'm going to give you my recommendation. And then in each step, I'm going to talk about the biggest mistakes you're going to make. Because I know you guys. I know me. I
Yeah.
know I've been through this process enough times that the first time I hired an ISA, Tristan, was in for my real estate team in Seattle back in 2013. I think it was the first time I hired. Around that time frame, right? We
Okay.
were coming out of a pretty terrible buyer's market for the last like 5 years in Seattle. And we were starting to see light at the end of the tunnel, and the market was starting to pick up. I didn't know that buyer's market was going to last like a dozen years. I didn't know that at the time, but we're just getting started, and I saw really good things happening, and I wanted to get more listings. Listings were there to be had. It
Yep.
was, we're coming out of a huge crisis, right? So that's how I hired my first ISA, and I made every single mistake I'm going to talk to you guys about. Okay, every single one to a T. Pretty straightforward. But I want you guys to avoid that. So, Yang, can you throw up the slide deck over here? Let's get started. Okay, great. Let's jump in. Let's go.
All right, let's
All
go.
right. So let's rock and roll. This is what we're going to cover today. These are the different steps. I'm going to hit all of them. Don't worry about it. And okay, this is so here's a big one, Tristan, because when people think about, how do I bring an ISA onto my team, they think about like interviews and hiring and training. And I go, that's all necessary. But the first thing you have to do, have a really clear idea of what are they going to do on your team, right? What are they going to
Very
do?
true.
You got to figure this out before you get started. You got to figure this out before you write that job description, right? Before you figure out who you're going to hire, what are they going to do? Okay. Because you've got to make sure what's expected of them. What's their goal? They should be working, ideally, Tristan, on a proven lead source for you. Okay. What do I
Mm,
mean by that? What
yep.
do I mean by that? So this is a really common case that I see. an agent, maybe they attended one of these webinars and, hey, I want to do cold calling, or I want to do internet leads. I want to do it. They've never done it before. And the first thing they feel they have to do is hire an ISA. And I'm like, I don't think that's a formula for success. I think you have to
No.
make sure you can close those leads first, right? I think you got to make a few of those calls on your
That's
own. You
so
got to do
funny.
it. You got to grow. Got
Yeah.
to make a few of those calls. Talk to those sellers. Talk to those buyers. Get them in the office. Sign some deals. Close some deals. So
Yeah.
you can know what that it's like. Does that make sense, Tristan?
Dude, it's like the agents who come into the world here, our world, and they come in and they instantly want to create a team. And it's like, oh, I'm only here to make a team. I'm like, all right, go ahead and try it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's one way to do it. It's going to be a very error-prone rate where you're going to stumble into one thing to the next, and you're probably going to have, when you're figuring out a new lead source and you're figuring out how to hire and train an ISA, that's not a recipe for success. Okay, there's too many things that can go wrong. You
Yep.
don't know if it's the script. You don't know if it's those leads you bought. You don't know if it's the ISA. Is it the dialer? Is it the training? There's too many things that can go wrong, and your likelihood to fix all of them is really low. Okay, a lot of
Agreed.
frustration sets in. You should hire an ISA to add leverage to an existing lead source. Okay, that's the best case. Whatever's working for you, the ISA should help you with that. And if you want to develop a new lead source, that's not a dumb thing to do. Developing a new lead source it can be a really good strategic thing to do. Great, do that first before you add a bunch of people to it, because that otherwise you're going to trip over yourself, and I don't think you're going to be successful. Right? I've seen it too many
Agreed.
times. 100%. And then a really I'm going to say this because this is a best practice. 95% of the time it doesn't happen. You should create an SOP for what they're going to do. Okay, I get it. People hate SOPs; they don't like it. ChatGPT can help you, but again,
I
you
was gonna
should make
say,
a SOP. You should make an SOP, or because when you work with our company, Power ISA, this is the first thing we do for you, right? Because I'm like, we need this. Like, we need this to hand the work off to somebody else. We should kind of agree, at least in like a bulleted checkpoint list, on what are their activities they're going to do, right? Like,
yeah.
where are they going to go get those leads to call? Where should they log in first thing in the morning? What I mean? Like step by step, make it easy for them.
Mhm.
One pager, Tristan, a one pager. I'm not even talking about a
That's
15-page
it.
document, like a one pager, bulleted list of what's the first task they do, second, third, fourth, fifth, end of day task. What does that even look like? Who do they send that to? Very, very straightforward, right?
Dude,
So
and
easier said than done.
really quick on that, if people are paying attention here for the idea of ChatGPT, just ask it, say, hey, create a prompt that helps me create an SOP for an ISA, right? And I'm a real estate agent, and then it'll just give you the prompt, then put in that prompt, and then you have something. Like, great,
Yeah, 100%.
dude. Anyway, that's what I want. I mean, if you want to take it to the next level, hold on. Then put it into Claude, make sure Claude's connected to your Google Calendar, and just say, hey, now that I have the SOP, outline it and connect it to my calendar here, and bring in the ISA so that it notifies them every morning or every end of the day. And then you've got it automated. There you go.
I love it. I love it. So, even better. I didn't even know that second one. That's a good one. That's like a pro tip. 100%. You don't have to make this stuff up anymore. You don't have to go because this is usually what people struggle with, like sitting down, making the list. Have the AI create the outline for you. Give
Yeah.
you a sample. Like what's a really good SOP for a cold calling ISA that I want to start with expireds and then hit the the circle prospect in the afternoon, and anything that's come out canceled or they're brand new for sell by owners, right? I think that's like an ideal situation. And use the AI as a tool. It's a great tool to use. Okay, great one. And folks, making this even easier, right? I'm going to make this easy for you guys. What you want them to do usually falls in one of two buckets. They're either going to help you with outbound cold calling, or they're going to help you call those leads in the CRM, either the older ones, the swamp, brand new ones. It's usually one of those two buckets. Just keep it simple, right? What are they going to do for you? Where are you going to plug them into your team? And you've got to figure out what are the tools you want them to use, okay? Like for that task. If they're going to be doing outbound cold calling, great. Where are they going to get their lists from? What dialer are they going to use? What script are they going to use? Okay. So super, super easy to figure that out. But that's what you want, that document to include. What are they calling? What's their goal? And where are they going to get the leads from? What are they going to use to call? As simple as that. It's as simple as that. And it sounds really easy, but people get tripped up on this. Yeah, Tristan.
Oh, well, obviously we use you guys, right? We have an ISA with you guys. It calls
Love
our
it.
he calls all of our database, and we've got a massive database. He'll never finish ever.
So,
Okay. Um, did you train him at the beginning? And if you did, like in this, how did that process look?
oh, okay, great. That's a really good question. So, when you have to figure this out anyway. Whether you hire a company like Power ISA or not, you got to help.
Yeah.
You got to figure this out. When people come to us and don't have a lot of clarity on this, because like, hey guys, I use my cell phone and I use this, and I make my ISA. I'm not going to buy them a US cell phone, right? Oh, you don't have
Yeah.
to. Yeah, that's not necessary. We help kind of translate that into what your ISA can use, because our coaches and our staff, they've used the 5, 10 most popular CRMs, the 3, 4, 5 most popular dialers, and they obviously know the best scripts, right? So it's a little bit of
Yeah.
a cheat code you can hack yourself into, and they help you set it up. Like that's I don't just it's been a while. I don't like setting up Mojo Dialer, even though Mojo's relatively easy to set up. Like I don't want to know. I don't know. I don't care actually how
Yeah.
to set up Mojo Dialer. I need it set up the right way, and I need it to do all the make sure you're compliant and all the anti-spam stuff. That's necessary, right? You're either going to do it or someone's going to do it for you. So,
Yeah.
so that's how we help people out, because
Perfect.
our staff does this every day. Like we set up, this whole setup for people. And if you're missing something, you need someone to call it out. Hey, you're missing this, and your ISA starts next week. So we got to figure this out, right? So that's how we help people out, And then when your ISA starts, we train them on these things, right? If they haven't used Follow Up Boss together with Mojo, right? It's a really common setup. Great. They're going to teach them how to use a dialer, their ins and outs of Follow Up Boss, et cetera, right? So yeah, so yeah, we can definitely save people a lot of time here for sure.
Thanks, man.
All right, cool. Next, okay, so this is okay. Remember that format, right? I'm going to give you the best practice, and then I'm going to go through the mistake, right? Really clear one. You don't know what your ISA is going to do for you. You might have one thing they're going to do, then you realize that's only like half the time you have allotted for them. Then what are you going to do the other half of the time? Uh-oh, now what do I do? I want them to call my old leads, and you've got 1,000 old leads. It's a lot of leads.
Yeah.
A few weeks in, they've called everybody. Well, now what do you do, right? So having unclear role and goals for your ISA, big mistake, right? You got to think this through. What are they going to do for you? What are you going to use those hours? Maybe you'll need a part-time person. You need 20 hours a week. You don't need 40, because for your task, you only need 20 hours a week, right? That's you don't want to like overschedule and have to cut back on hours. It's a really bad experience, for someone, right? And then Tristan, the tools. Oh my God, right? You cannot have your ISA kind of waiting there for 3 or 4 days to get your dialer set up, to get them to see it
No.
on your CRM. Like it's very frustrating, very demoralizing to have someone just kind of like sitting there, right? Because I'll talk about this later. They're in it. Obviously, they're going to get paid. They're in it for the hourly rate. They really want the bonuses, though. And if they're not calling, they're not going to make any bonuses, right? They're not going to hit any goals if they're not doing any activity. So big issue. You got to get this one out of the way. Okay, next one, the more interesting one. Okay, you got to find great candidates. That's the next step. You got to be sourcing. Call this candidate sourcing. How do you find the best candidates? And finding great candidates is hard, but for almost everyone in the world, maybe not Tristan, maybe not me, but you don't have to you don't have to hire 10 really great people. You don't have to. Okay. Like, Tristan has to probably, this year has to hire another dozen or so. We hire 15, 20 people a week, like great people, 15,
Damn.
20 per week. For most people, you have a huge advantage over both of us. You have to hire one really good person, right? And have them do great. Just one. Okay. So you've got this simplifies the job so much for you guys, right? Because we have to solve this at scale. Tristan has to solve this at scale.
Yeah.
Recruiters and these sites, we run Facebook ads because we need flow. We need 100 to 200 inbound applications a day, Tristan. 1 to 200 is like our sweet spot. We can't go below 100 applications, and over 200 is a little bit too much, right? So 100 to 200 per day. You don't need that. Okay. You have a huge advantage. If I only had to hire one really great person per month, holy cow, that would make my job a lot easier. My recommendation is to source really good candidates from Facebook groups, right? Or online portals like, onlinejobs.ph, Indeed. You only have to hire one really good person, right? So
True.
you can use those tools. They don't scale super well, But who cares if they don't scale super well? You don't have to hire 10 people, 20 people,
No.
30 people, right? No, not really. So Facebook groups, look for Facebook groups that are call center groups, cold calling groups, virtual like remote work groups. There's a bunch of them out there, and they usually have tens of thousands of people in these groups because they're looking for jobs.
Yeah.
Like it's really common for people to post these on there.
Dude.
I found that Facebook groups work better, Tristan. There's a lot of LinkedIn groups too. I just find those to be really way less active. I mean, it's like LinkedIn groups are there because you should probably make one, but like no one posts on there, no one comments. It's not super active. The ones I've seen the most active are the Facebook groups, like by far, by far. And and the countries where you're going to be sourcing most of these candidates, Mexico, Philippines, Facebook is huge, even among younger people. I know it sounds kind of
Yeah,
crazy, but
I
it
know.
is because they use it for work. They use it to find jobs, right? And then you
100%.
have WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. But Facebook is where you should probably start. Okay, great, great. Go, Tristan.
Do you think the Facebook groups are better than online job portals, or what do you think? Since that's the next one on your list.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So online job portals cost more money. So you got to, like for example, if you're going to go on onlinejobs.ph, you should probably, getting a premium account. You want to do all their tools. So it costs a little bit more cash, right? So it's good. I think they're good options out there. Indeed as well, right? For the premium account, got to pay a little bit of money. Facebook groups, you just got to post. You'll get attention and you'll get people. And here's another thing. I'll talk about this, coming up. This gives you qualified candidates. It doesn't guarantee you're going to get great people off the bat, right? Either of those, both Facebook groups and onlinejobs.ph. So the onlinejobs.ph and those kind of websites, they've got reviews and they've got comments. I found those to be kind of Upwork is another really good one. Upwork,
Hmm.
Fiverr with 2 R's. They can be very hit or miss, even with a bunch of reviews. Even with a bunch of reviews, can be very hit or miss, right? My opinion. So if you're gonna have that on reliability anyway, I would just start with Facebook groups, right? And find qualified people there. 100%, right? And then one of the things I don't like about some of these, I like and I don't like about the portals is that sometimes these people are trying to maximize their job opportunities, and they're saying I could be a marketer, or I can be an admin assistant, or I can be an ISA. Like those are really different jobs. Like just they have nothing to do with each other, right? Like do you really know marketing? Like, being an assistant, I think, is the easiest one. But do you really
Yeah.
know marketing? Are you really
Yeah.
good on the phone? The likelihood that you're really good at three of those things is zero. Okay. So I would figure out things like that. I hone in. I really like the Facebook groups because they're focused on calling. Like you're only there to find calling jobs. You don't post on the same posting. You're not trying to find trying to hit 5 different keywords. You know what I mean? So I like the Facebook groups for that purpose as well. I really like them too. Oh, we had a question. It flashed in front of us. I missed it.
Oh, let me find
Oh,
it
yeah.
for you.
Hey, Rob. Yeah. So, I would look for like call center, Facebook groups. You got a bunch of call center employees there, remote work, remote jobs, Facebook groups, and just type it in like call center. And then look for the little tab on groups. You'll find out a bunch of them, right? I like the Mexico based ones. There's Philippines based ones. I think those are the two biggest options out there. Philippines and Mexico,
Sure.
Colombia too. Gotta find a Latin. The ones that are in Spanish, you're going to find people from all over Latin America. The ones that are in Spanish. So let's say like a Spanish city. The posting are all in English, but the groups are based, out of some Latin American country. So that's kind of what you want. Call center, remote work, cold calling. Those are I would kind of start there. And you want people with really really good phone skills. Okay. When you're talking about you got to prepare an offer for these folks. This is my rule of thumb. If you're looking for folks in Mexico, Latin America, Colombia, Mexico and Colombia are the gorillas in the room. They're the biggest countries in Latin America, by far going to have the most candidates. It's going to be $7 to $10 an hour plus bonuses. That's like the sweet spot, right? Power ISA, we get people about $7 an hour because we have volume and we people kind of know us, so we don't have to pay a premium. If it's just you, John Bob agent, no one knows you. It might be kind of risky working for you, right? Like now, who
Yeah.
is this guy? You might have to offer a little bit more, maybe $8 an hour, 8.50. Yeah, you have to offer more than maybe me than I would, right? That's fine. Dollar more an hour can get you more candidates, so it's not a big deal. Philippines is going to be way lower. Philippines about $4 to $6 an hour, on average. But like I said, careful with those language skills and careful with the people with 5 different job descriptions in their profile. they're probably not going to be that good, right? Just you got to
Great
really
point.
judge for that, okay? And when you're looking, the number one, qualification for this job is to speak English like at a native level, okay?
Yeah.
That is like the it begins and ends there. If they have too much of an accent, it's just not going to work, right? It's going to be a big turnoff. It's not going to be useful. In my experience, the folks from Latin America, they grew up in the U.S. If they might sound like a Hispanic person from California, from Texas, from Florida. That's what they sound like, right? Hispanic person from those. And yeah, we do sound different. Some of you have, oh yeah, I can tell you have like a Hispanic accent. Yeah, they do, right? Oh, I see you're a Dodger fan. Oh, of course, that's what they sound. I don't know what they all sound the same. Tristan, I don't know what's up with that. But you can sound like a Southern Californian Hispanic person, right? That's fine. That's not the accent I'm talking about. I'm talking, you can tell someone learned English as a second language outside the US. You can kind of tell. You either tell on the pronunciation, the grammar, or you know what, Tristan, the lingo. Like they don't get, sarcasm is a very US thing. Okay. You don't teach it anywhere. Like that's not in an English course somewhere, right? You can speak decent English, you just don't get slang. You don't get sarcasm. I've listened to this when I was consulting with other people. I would listen to calls, and sometimes they would tell the ISA, "Hey, would you like to sell? You think of selling your home? I'd sell my home for $1 million. That they'd say something like that, and the ISA would literally write down they have a $1 million listing appointment. Oh, for sure. Boom, boom. Like the person was being sarcastic. Like they weren't really setting an appointment, right? That's what I mean. You want people with the excellent English skills. I'm a little biased. I think Latin America has by far like the best English skills. Because a lot of them grew up there. Most of them grew up in the U.S., Colombia, and Mexico, especially. Okay, so you want to make sure you verify these skills over voice message, like through chat, through Facebook messengers, through WhatsApp. You can verify someone's English skills pretty easily and figure out, yeah, if it's even worth, scheduling an interview with them. Do they have decent internet access, right? Do they have decent internet access or not? They have to send you a picture of their internet speed, like right there. And honestly, we will even review it when we're like, if we schedule them for an interview, like on a Zoom call, we'll ask them to verify their internet speed, like right there again, because that can be, you can fake that. Honestly, you can kind of fake it up. Show me their internet speed, 20 megabytes minimum, right? That's pretty decent internet speed. And then they have the right tools for the job. They have a webcam, a headset, USB headset, and they've got, everything set up and working. You can tell that in the interview too, right? My rule of thumb, Tristan, when you've got someone with the right English skills, you've got someone with the right tools, right? And they're willing to work for the right compensation, I call that a qualified candidate, okay? Qualified candidate. My rule of thumb is you probably should talk to about 10 qualified candidates to find a really good hire.
Ooh, I like that.
10 qualified. Yeah. And most agents underperform here. And that brings me to the mistake, right? So, Tristan, most situations where people end up with an ISA they don't like or doesn't work out for them, I ask them, how many people did you talk to? Oh, Gus, I talked to like 3 people and I hired the best one. I hired the best candidate I could find. Like, yeah, but you only talked to 3 people. You only talked to 2 people, right? Oh, this guy recommended this guy. I got a recommendation. I thought it was going to be great. Yeah, but you only talked to 1 person. Like, you only talk. Yes, referrals and recommendations are great, Tristan, but you have nothing to compare against. You have nothing to compare against, right? Like you've got to talk to multiple qualified candidates. And then, yeah, I can believe you. You can make the best hire. Okay. And here's another one, Tristan. Big one, right? Some people want to only hire people that have real estate experience. Okay. And in my opinion, I think that's a mistake. Okay. Because, and I get it. I understand why. I empathize with the reason. They want to save a bunch of time on training. Hey, if already called expired, like I don't have to train them at all. This is easy street. If I hire an experienced ISA, I don't have to do anything. They're good to go. Like, well, there's a few problems with that logic, right? Number one, you're assuming the other agent already trained them well. I trained them properly. You're kind of making that bet. And in my opinion, that's a risky bet to make. And you're assuming they trained them the right way, with the right habits, with the right skills, with the right scripts. That can be very hit or miss, guys. Okay. So I would always hire on talent and skill set. Experience helps. It's a plus. For sure, it's a plus. But if they're not impressing me with their skill, the way they carry themselves in the interview, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think so. Like, not really. Not really. Okay, because you don't want to do it. And I got some examples here. I've got recent case studies from Power ISA. This is Marlene out of Hawaii, 26 closed deals just from Circle Prospect, built her ISA team. This is Wyatt Parker out of Southern California, San Clemente, 19 million.
Wait,
ISA.
go back one because
Oh,
I have questions on both.
oh,
How many ISAs does she have?
oh, right. Well, she's no longer calling, so she has a team of 3 ISAs full
All
time,
right,
right? So
three
she's
full
three
time.
full timers, 3 full timers. Yeah.
And
So
who are they calling?
they're calling Circle Prospect in Hawaii.
Perfect. All right, let's go
Yeah,
to the next one.
100%.
Tell me
Yeah,
same question.
yeah. This is Wyatt. He's out of San Clemente. He has one person helping him with Circle and like absentee owners, Circle and absentee. Yeah,
Interesting. Okay,
100%. Yeah,
cool.
and doing a great job. And this is Tori out of Denver. I think he's got 2 full-time ISAs. Circle and expired. And his productivity just shot through the roof with that. The common thread across these 3 people: case studies, home runs, hit it out of the park. None of them had real estate experience. Just to be clear, they had not done expired, absentee, or Circle Prospect calling ever, right? Like not ever. Okay. But they were really good on the phone, very motivated, high energy, right? And they hit it off, right? And they made it through the process. So the point here is they don't need to be experienced cold callers for expired listings in Alabama for you to hire them in Alabama, right? Because sometimes people can be a little bit too picky when they're selecting people. I go, no. You've got to, this job is hard, right? Very difficult to be on the phone. If they have really good phone skills, we can teach them real estate. You can teach them the real estate part. Learning the expired script and learning real estate in Southern California and Arizona and Washington State and in Florida, that's not the hard part of this job. Okay, to be really clear, and people can get that confused. Learning the best school district and the highways and the neighborhoods in your area, that's not the hard part. The hard part is having the grit, the tenacity to be on the phone and do a great job, right? And to really and you want the energy to come through the call, and you want them to be teachable and coachable. That's the game. The tenacity and the coachability of these people, Tristan, that is 95% of the success. Their previous experience with I hear people, I only want to hire someone with Follow Up Boss experience and with Mojo experience. I go, like, that's not the hard part of this job. Learning Follow Up Boss. I mean, if they use Salesforce before,
They
they'll
can do it
figure out Follow Up Boss. They'll figure out Follow Up Boss in a day,
in a day.
maybe in a few hours, right? Like they'll figure that part out. They'll figure it out.
I have a question. All 3 of the ones you showed on your screen are all having their RSAs call Circle Prospecting.
Yeah, these are all about. Because I use them, Tristan, because they're the most recent case studies we've got. But yeah, 100%, they're all cold calling ISAs.
Yeah, I like that. And why Circle Prospecting? What's going on? What am I missing?
Oh, and Circle Prospect. So number one, people thought it was dead. I think a lot of people assumed that wouldn't work anymore, right? Because of we see it all the time, the iPhone updates and the shake and stir anti-spam protocol. You see all these tech updates, and people kind of assume cold calling doesn't work. So people don't do it very often. So I would say next to no one does it. At scale in the U.S. and not in the U.S. Right? So. They're able to talk to a lot of people every day because very few real estate people. I'm not talking about the illegal robocalls. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about very few real estate people do it. So you get to talk to more people than pretty much any other lead source that I see for sellers right now.
That's so cool, dude. I love that. And Max has a good question. Then I'll ask my question right after.
Yeah.
What's a typical good bonus?
I'll get to that. We have a section on bonuses. I'll jump on that. But typically, I'll answer briefly. You want to give them a weekly goal, not monthly, not at closing. I mean, you can always have, closing bonuses. If that's allowed in your area, that's fine. But you really want them to hit their weekly numbers, Tristan, and giving a small bonus there. I have agents that want to give $1,000 at a closing or $500 for a listing taken. And I go, that's fine and good. I would prefer smaller bonuses. I'm talking about $25, $50 a week. If they give you 5 attended appointments that week, or they generate 5 qualified sellers. If they're doing cold calling, it's going to be about qualified sellers. 5 qualified sellers that you talk to that week, then they should get the bonus, right? Smaller bonus. Take it off the back end. You can do less money on the back end if you spread it out a little bit more through the process. It keeps them motivated, keeps them interested, and those are the leading indicators. How many brand new buyers and sellers are you talking to every week, Tristan? Like that's their job, to bring up brand new buyers and sellers that you weren't talking to before. They should be bonus on those smaller goals than just the closings. Closings can take 3, 4, 5, 6 months easily, right? And here's another thing, Tristan, maybe an unpopular opinion. Your ability to close those deals depends on your skill set, not the ISAs, right? If they're giving you motivated, qualified buyers and sellers, it's your skill set that's going to close them faster or slower, right? So you have
That's
way more
very
to do with
true.
that. I would rather bonus the ISA on things they control, like hitting the phones, quality conversations, conversions. That's what they control. So smaller bonus, 25, $50 a week if they hit that weekly goal. Hit that weekly goal. Okay. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, right? So, real briefly, so you're generating qualified candidates. The purpose is to interview them, right? Like, guys, this is what the interview is really good at. Judging, like another check on their language skills, their dialogue, right? How do they react under stress? Interview is a stressful situation. Okay. Do they even seem like someone you'd want to work with? Team fit, culture fit. Okay. The interview
Mhm.
can be a really good indicator of that. If they're a complete turnoff during the interview, maybe a little arrogant, or they're just really shy, don't want to talk, that's a really good indicator that it might not be a good fit for your team, right? First impressions can matter around these topics, okay? And you want them talking in the interview. Ask them about their experience, even if it's not real estate. Okay, I used to call for, solar campaigns or insurance campaigns. I was doing sales for Verizon or cell phone company, whatever. Ask them about that, right? Ask follow-up questions. What was the toughest objection you deal with? How did you handle that? Right? Like, what's the hardest calls you had? Remember, everyone remembers this. The toughest calls you had to handle. What happened? Right? Interesting, right? Have them kind of think on their feet. Get them talking. And here's another one. Try to ask people the same questions, not the same follow-up questions, but the same base questions, because so you can compare apples to apples. You don't want to have 15 questions for one person and like 2 questions for the next. You're not going to be comparing apples to apples. Try to use the same base questions and then kind of go off on those follow-up questions, right? Ask them to clarify. Thinking on their feet. How good are they? Because that's what a lot of calling is thinking on your feet, reacting quickly to what the other person is doing, right? That's a really, really good one. So max $10 to $20 per appointment. So, okay, really good point. I personally, and this is the best practice for me, I don't bonus per appointment. And some people can disagree with that. And I know a lot of agents that have a lot of success, but I don't like bonusing per appointment. I bonus per weekly goal of appointments met. Weekly
Same,
met appointments, right?
same.
Because Tristan, what if they, set an appointment Monday morning, end of the week, they do nothing else. Oh, here's your bonus. Like you only did a good
Negative.
job Monday morning. Like
Yeah.
what does that even mean that I'm going to bonus you for a really good job half of a day? If you work the whole week and do a great job I give you a goal that takes you the whole week to achieve. That's fine. And if they give you, instead of 5 attended appointments, they give you 4, well, try harder next week, right? Like they did their job.
Yeah.
5 attended appointments not bad. They don't get a bonus for that. Bonus is 5. Okay, so I think that's really, really important. So love it.
Agreed.
Cool. Okay, so here's the big mistake on interviews that I see. Actually, there's more than one, but here's the big one. People think, Tristan, that by doing 3, 4, 5 rounds of interviews, they're going to get a better outcome. And I do not think that's true. Okay. They want to do the DISC assessment and the AVA and I forget what the new one is for Keller Williams. Like they want to do all these tests and they want to do 3, 4, 5 rounds and they want to do 2
Yeah.
rounds of reference checking. The old recruit select process that I was trained on. They want to do that here. And in my experience, that does not get you a better outcome. Okay. It does not get you a better outcome, because there's only so much you can find out in the interview. And this is true, Chris, I would say this is true for calling roles, like sales roles. Other roles, you can argue that. I'll concede that for other roles. For this job, it's so hard to do. The final part of the interview is getting him on the phone, Tristan. Getting him on the phone, and now let's see what they can do, right? 100%. Like big, big, big thing. And Bob, yeah, Bob and me are on the same. Actually, I know Bob. Bob, hey Bob, I agree with Bob 100%. Like we're on the same page. I agree. Typhoons and stuff. I mean, again, I don't want to knock Philippines, but that's a much bigger issue there, right? It can happen anywhere, any tropical country. But yeah, man, they always get hit with something, right? Some part of the and Philippines is like 100 islands. It's a pretty big country, right? So 100%, you want to make sure that you're really trying to judge what you can actually. It's going to impact the role. Doing 3 rounds of interviews doesn't give you more information, Tristan. It's diminishing returns very quickly. Judge them on their language skills. Judge them on their cultural fit. Get them on the phone. We call the first 30 days in the job the final part of the interview. The final part of the interview. First 30 days. And they don't even have to last 30 days. You might know enough in a week to know if they're going to make it or not, right? So, onboarding with the G. Oops, my bad. Onboarding. That's the kind of the next step, right? This is where your SOP can come in handy, okay? You got all their tools set up, right? Ready to jump in. And like I said, the priority here, first 30 days, Tristan, get them on the phone. Get them on the phone. I don't want to see a week or two of classroom training, of looking at videos, role play. No.
You'll lose
doing it
them.
wrong.
You'll lose them.
Yeah, they'll get that's kind of dull, and they might stick around, but you're not going to know if they're any good if they just you're not going to get a better outcome if you spend 2 weeks of role play and classroom training for them. I used to do that, by the way. I'm telling you from experience. We had 1 week of in-person classroom training, and then we get them on the phone the second week. We change. I forget if my trainer got sick or what happened. We put them on the phone the second day instead of the second week. The outcome was the same. It didn't matter they were chanting the script and writing down the script 18 different times. 1 day of that was fine, and they got to get on the phone, right? Get them on the phone. Get them on the phone. Get them on the phone. Biggest thing, right? And Tristan, this is where the magic happens, man. So I don't have any solution to this. You got to spend 1 to 2 hours per day giving them feedback on what they're doing for the first 30 days. Might be a little bit less than that, right? Depending on their outcome, might be a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe. I tell people prepare for the first month to put a lot of time into these people, right? They're a brand new hire. You got to give them some time. You got to see what they're up to. Got to give them feedback. Listen to their calls. And when you hire a company like Power ISA, we can take some of that time away. But if this is you got to put in that time because they're going to suck at it at first, no matter what, right? They're brand new, right? They're brand new.
How much?
But you want to see improvement. Yeah, Tristan.
How much time do you guys spend on this for us? Because this is the biggest challenge, hands down.
100%. Yeah. So when they're brand new, they have an ISA coach with Power ISA. They're spending time with them every day. Like they're meeting with them every single day, like answering those tech questions, answering the script questions, like listening to their calls. Like their coach is meeting with them every day, and then it tapers off as the person gets more mature. They're checking in with them daily, but maybe meeting with them once or twice a week. Right? It tapers off after the first month. But the first month, it's intense, right? So, but I want to say this, Tristan. Even when you're working with Power ISA, we want you involved. We also want the agent involved in that process, right? Yeah. So to make sure we're on the right track with the ISA. I don't think even with Power ISA, you're dedicating time. It's just less time. I think is the big difference, and you've got support from your coach, from people helping you out make this do it, right? So really big thing. Biggest mistakes I see with this onboarding, this first 30 days. Is meeting with them once a week. Like, this guy meets with his ISA team once a week. Yeah, because they're a really successful team. Their metrics are dialed in. Yeah, they only meet with them once a week now. Not when they first started. When they first started, if they're really good, I bet you they were meeting every day, Monday through Friday. Let's go, right? And another mistake I see, Tristan, is that when someone's not working out, they take too long to let them go. And this is tied to the interview issue, Tristan, because imagine you're invested in this hire. You put them through 3 rounds of interviews. You check their references. You put them through 18 different personality tests. Some of those cost a lot of money. Like, this has got to work out. No. The answer is no. If they're not putting in their time, 40 hours a week, they're not showing up on time, they're not doing their homework, they're not improving week over week, a week or two and they're gone, right? Yeah.
And they're also making excuses about showing up late. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got sick. Somebody got sick. Somebody died. I mean, You've
I
got
was
to
in
be
an
very
accident.
careful. You've got to be very careful with those.
People take it, yeah, 100%. People want to take advantage of people, right? 100%. And if
Yep.
they're making excuses like that, the first 30
Consistently.
days,
Consistently.
huge red flag. It's
Yep.
not going to get better. It's only going to go downhill. They're on their best behavior the first 30 days.
That's true.
If that best behavior includes calling out, showing up late, not doing what you asked them to do, it's not going to get any. It's going to go downhill from there pretty
Oh yeah.
quickly, right? So you don't want to hold on to someone that's not showing any improvement, not giving you results. If they're calling your database, right, old leads, within the first week, I want to see quality maybe not going to get a bunch of appointments. I want to hear quality conversations. The first week, I want to have them hold the conversation down with someone looking for a home, in Southern California, right? Whatever part it is. Like you want to make sure that they're actually making some progress. If they're doing outbound, like Tristan, if they're doing circle prospect, they should generate me a nurture the first week. Like the first week, I want to see a qualified seller lead produced by them
You
that I
know,
didn't have before. Brand
hold
new
on,
one.
Gus. You're making
Yeah.
me think a little differently. Like,
Go,
um,
go.
because remember the ISA we have with you
Yeah.
is just calling we've got
Database.
126,000 people in our database.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
You
right?
got to, pretty unique, pretty unique.
Um, but now I'm thinking like, what am I because I have my whole notes is all
Yeah.
around circle prospecting. Right?
Love
I'm
it.
like,
Love it.
maybe, but when we're done, I'm gonna hit you up and I'm be like, maybe let's just get one for circle
For
prospecting
circle.
because
Oh,
you
yeah.
just said what I should expect one qualified appointment the first week. That's what I should shoot for, right?
Yeah. If you're calling those inbound leads because they're a little bit more qualified, if you're doing circle, it's one seller, like one qualified seller, like an actual seller is going to
I
sell
should
it,
expect
right?
one seller a
One.
week. One.
When they're getting started, Tristan. When you got this
Are you
dialed in,
kidding?
it should be one a day. It should be one a day, like one
Wait,
qualified seller per day.
how many
Right?
dials are they making, bro?
So if they're doing circle is calling the phone book, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
circle,
yeah.
they're probably gonna be doing 3, 4, 500 a day if they're doing circle. Even in some markets, they can do even more than that,
Dials.
right?
They're just gonna dial.
Dials, but the real metric, Tristan, is conversations. They should be having at least 30 conversations a day. In
Well,
Southern
that's important.
California,
Yeah,
it takes a few more dials just to be clear with you. That's a lower
yeah.
contact rate because you guys get called by everyone on the planet, right? But in other markets might be a little bit easier. But Hawaii, Southern California, very high price markets. A lot of people interested in calling, people who live there. So contact rates are a little bit lower. It's still 30 conversations per day,
That's
usually
what.
one qualified seller.
So that's what the mark would be.
Yeah,
30,
30
30
plus, 30 plus.
contacts a day. How are we tracking them? Because for me, it would be I just put them on Red X, right? So
Yeah, 100%.
how
They
would
can market contact. They can mark it right there on Vortex. They can mark it as a contact. Like what's a contact, what's not a contact. And at the end of the day, you'd have that within Vortex. That's the Red X dialer. So you'd have it there, like as a report, right? And if they're using Mojo, same thing. If you're using Vortex, they've got a reporting feature, and that's how you kind of see whether you're on track or not. And you can see that. Their coach can see that too, right? Like, hey, are we hitting our numbers or not? And if they're not hitting their numbers, is it the list? Is it the dialer? Or is it the ISA? It could be the ISA as well, right? Why are we not hitting the numbers we got to hit? And that comes with kind of knowing the benchmarks, right? The rule of thumb. So, anyways, I think we have like 1 minute left. I'm gonna rush through this last section. I think we want to see it, right? The last one, guys, last one, bonuses and compensation. Bonuses and compensation. So, real quick. So ISAs are salespeople. They're in it. Again, the hourly rate is great, salary is great. They're in it for the bonuses, right? You want to have ISAs that get 50% of their compensation comes from bonuses because that's what you want, right? That's what they're shooting for. Like a good chunk of the money they make, they
oh
want it to be coming from bonuses. And 30%, 50%, that's what they want, like extra. It's not a raise, it's pay for performance, right? Bonuses. And
got it.
you can bonus on those transactions, but like I said before, I prefer weekly goal. If they're doing cold calling, it should be qualified sellers, nurtures. Like how many people that they find that are going to be selling their home, right?
Got
If
it.
it's a circle prospect campaign, it can be 3 to 5 per week. If they're calling your internet leads, right? If they're calling brand new leads, they can be sending one or two a day. If they're calling,
Yeah.
like, if you have a stream of brand new leads, if they're calling your database, it's going to be like older leads, it'll be a little bit less than that. But you want to dial it in, right? Maybe 3 to 5 med appointments per week if it's inbound. If it's cold calling, it's not going to be 3 to 5 per week. It's not. It's going to be qualified nurtures. How many sellers that they find that are still willing to sell, confirmed homeowner, confirmed motivation, confirmed contact information. That's a qualified seller. How many of those per week? And you can bonus 25 to 50 bucks, right? Maybe 25 for buyers, $50 for sellers because they're worth more, right? So yeah, just
All right. So hold on. I have a question on this. Since your team's gonna handle this for me, but I still have a question
go for it.
because I'll be paying Power ISA
Yeah.
for the ISA, but the bonus is gonna come from me, right?
Correct. Yes.
So,
100%.
so that means if I wrote down, if I can have them, I'm gonna have them circle prospect. I want qualified sellers. So whatever the standards are, right? You're gonna tell me what those standards are. Qualified seller. What does it mean? Should I be shooting for 5 for that? Because I know it's a little tougher than online leads coming through, right? 3, 4, 5, and then if they match the 5, do I pay one amount for the 5, or do I pay one amount for each one? What would that
Okay,
look
no,
like?
really good question. So, and I'm going to make this super personalized, right? Southern California is a tougher market. So I would
Yes,
say 3 qualified sellers.
got it.
And also, as everyone knows, pretty good price point too, right? So maybe volume, it's the same, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, 3 qualified sellers per week would be the goal. And if they hit 3 qualified sellers per week, they get $50. That's
Oh,
it.
that's it.
If they hit 2, thanks for participating. Better luck next week, right? Let's go. What's happening? Let's go. How can I help you make that goal? What's missing? They're either not making enough dials, they're not talking to enough people, or if they're talking to enough people, there's a skill set issue, right? It's only one of those 3. There's no other reason. They're not making enough calls. Their calls aren't connecting to enough people, contacts, or when they're talking to those people, they don't have the skills to convert them, right? There's no other reason they're not going to make that weekly goal. It's just those 3. That's it, right?
And I would
And
just I would just
I saw a question
PayPal them.
from Max.
I would just PayPal them $50 if they get it. Boom, done. Right?
Good job.
Easy.
Nice. Good job. On a weekly basis, right?
I like
And
it.
Max asked, is 30 contacts to an appointment a realistic goal? It's not, Max. And when I'm talking about circle, and this is where the lead sources matter, the details matter. So 30 contacts to 1 qualified seller nurture, 1 lead, which means they're going to sell maybe 6 months from now, maybe 12 months from now,
6
right?
months from now. Got
Like
it.
that it's a big distinction because they might not, it might not even make sense to meet with them right away if they're going to sell a year from now, but you've got them in your database. So Circle Prospect, and you guys can check out that we actually did a Circle Prospecting webinar a couple of months ago. You should check it out on the LCA channel. It's a really good one. I go into a lot more detail, but it's a farming activity. Circle Prospect, like for example, Tristan, you guys have a machine. You have a marketing and follow-up machine in your company.
Yeah, we
Like
do.
it makes a lot of sense for Tristan to have put as many people in that machine as possible,
Yeah.
even if they're a year out. Who cares? Get them in the machine. The machine will nurture them and stay top of mind, all these things, right? So it makes a lot of sense to get people into the machine. Get them in.
All
If
right.
you're an individual agent, you got to go into it knowing it's a farming activity. It's not an immediate appointment activity. Yeah.
I got a lot of questions. First,
Yeah.
let's do it. So I'll hit you up right after.
100%. Make it happen.
1 to start because I've already got a
sure.
bunch, obviously, with you.
Yeah.
1 circle prospecting ISA, right?
Consider it done. Yeah.
All right, let's do that. And then bonus $50 a week if they make 3 appointments. This is just for me. This is everyone else is just listening. Okay.
3 nurtures. 3 nurtures. Yeah.
3 nurtures. Who's going to follow up with them? The ISA that I hire or the ISAs that I have?
Okay. So, okay. Really? Okay. Great question. So my preference, like the best practice, Tristan, is that the ISA should stay in nurture generating mode.
Yes.
Okay. Like their time is best spent making the 500 calls a day to generate 3, like 1 new one every day, or 1.5 of one every day, right? So every day, just generating new ones.
Boom,
The
boom,
nurtures should go to your, maybe more experienced ISA, should go to the agent, because that's like 3 people a week. I mean, they can handle 3 people a week, new people a week, right? They probably can deal with that. I don't like taking lead generators out of that lead generation role. I don't. Like, just do more. Like, give me more, give me more. If you're not connecting with them, if you're not met nurturers, okay, then you can bounce them back, throw them back over the wall. Hey, got to get these people back on the phone. They don't count. If we can't talk to them within 24, 48 hours, they're not going to count towards your goal, right? So get them back, right? So I want to keep them focused on that. And again, Tristan, this is a question that maybe teams will handle differently. That's the best practice that I've seen time and time again. Get them on lead generation mode.
All right.
Circle prospect is a lead generation role.
So ideal situation. So for everyone listening in for the future, okay, future, this is what you're shooting for. If you're like, I want to hire just one, great. Let them handle the nurturing. But ideally, I agree with you, Gus, just from working with so many, ideally I'd have two. One ISA for getting me new business because they're hunters. They're just going to every single day. You don't want to drag them down by, I have to nurture somebody. It means nothing, no extra money.
Hunting and farming. It's hunting and farming, right? You're probably going to be good at, have you guys ever met a huntsman and a farmer? Like, a little bit different, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. You need two different ISAs there, right? And I would eventually, whatever CRM you've got, plug in the AI version to help with the nurturing, right? So
100%.
So hunting and then farming. Both. I like this. And then Gus, can you do this exact webinar you did, but without the slides, 20 minutes on an Instagram live for our Lab Code Agents IG account?
I love that, man. That'd be great. Love it. Right. I'd enjoy it for sure. 100%.
Let me plan on that one because it was so good, man. I think a lot of people will get
a good one
on this. All right,
I love that. I love that.
One question there. Would you have the same ISA? Oh, buyers and sellers.
Yeah. So like Tristan said, ideally it's a role you'd split. But Tristan, reality is for a lot of agents, they might not have enough leads for a full-time seller focus, full-time buyer focus. You can mix them. But don't be surprised if your ISA is better at one versus the other, right? I mean, that's fine. I would say majority of the people we work with will mix it up. And also Tristan, all sellers are buyers first. Okay. All sellers are buyers first. They're only selling their home because they have to. Like, no one wakes up in the morning, I want to sell my home. No, they want to buy the new one. So you might be you can hit them with both angles. You can mix them. It's not the ideal situation for sure. Because if you're hiring someone for cold calling, we're going to find cold callers for you, right? And if you're hiring someone just for what we call the lead manager role, they're just managing 120,000 leads in your CRM. Like, a customer service background helps a lot. They don't have to be a cold caller. They don't have to be, right? They might just be really good with people and nurturing and following up and life transfers and setting appointments. So I think the details matter. But yeah, people can mix both roles 100%. They can, but just realize they're probably going to be way better at one versus the other. I think is the reality. Cool. All right. So 30 seconds. The mistakes. You don't put your bonuses in writing. Okay, guys, like, do that over chat if you want, over WhatsApp and an email. Like, what is the bonus structure you're going to agree to? What are we agreeing to? What does a nurture even mean, Tristan? 3 nurtures per week, $50. What does a nurture mean? Someone, qualified seller, homeowner, confirmed contact information, desire to sell, motivation to sell, questions about selling, right? Like, nurture. And I need to talk to them. If I don't talk to them, it doesn't count. Okay, just be really clear on those details. Another one, Tristan, you might get your 3 nurtures per week, but you know what? Tristan forgot to PayPal you that week. Oh, oops, my bad. I'll send it Monday. Don't worry. No. Not cool. Like, that's so demoralizing for people. They did the effort. They met their goal. They kept their end of the bargain, and you forgot. So, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it now. I'll do it Monday. I'm in Laguna Beach, man. I'll talk to you on Monday. No. That's a big mistake. The best way to demoralize a top performer is for you not to be a top performer, right? You not to keep your commitments and do what you're going to do. They did what they were going to say they were going to do, and then you don't. Mismatch there, right? And then changing your bonuses every week. I think there's a level of trying things out and experimentation that happens with bonuses. Don't abuse that. They can't change it every week, right? Like, no, that's also demoralizing. Figure one out, give it a few months, 2-3 months before you make any changes, see what happens, right? So I think that's a really, really big one. That's it, guys. So if you want, we have a free giveaway, okay? Free giveaway for those that made it all the way to the end. You got to email free ISA tracker and you'll get our monthly ISA performance tracker. It's like an Excel spreadsheet, Google sheet, and you can use it for free. We also have a special offer for you guys. If you want to sign up and get your own eyes, we can help you with this process. You don't have to do it on your own, right? This webinar is how to do it on your own. But if you want help with that, sign up with Power ISA. Or if you just want the free monthly tracker because you're rocking and rolling on your own, shoot an email to info@powerisa.com, free ISA tracker, and I'll send you that sheet you can use to track a whole month's performance.
Do me a favor, Gus. Well, everybody scan that. When we do the Instagram live, put this. So whenever we decide to do it soon, put this slide deck or the tracker. Put it in your link on your profile for Instagram.
Oh, it's true.
So that when we're doing it, we can just tell people to go there because it's just going to be you and I talking. Right? That'll be a good
Perfect.
one. I love it, man. This was great. Thank you. I never know what to expect with you, so this was great.
It's either going to be great or awesome. One of the two.
Which
one will it be this time?
Either 8 or 10.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you. Thanks, Gus.